So I'm already recording. So in our last class, we talked about group. And under a group, we said a group is an entity structure whereby you have the parent and the subsidiaries. And we talked about the parent, someone that owns more than 50% shareholding of another entity. And we talked about the types of subsidiary. Subsidiary is the person um, that its shares, more than 50% of the shares is being owned by another entity. And we talked about different subsidiaries. We said we have partially owned subsidiary, fully owned subsidiary, foreign subsidiary, sub-subsidiary, and we have other types. So what's talked about controlling interest, that's what the parents have was subsidiary. And we talked about the non-controlling interest. That is the percentage that the parents do not own. We talked about different accounts that will be involved. We talked about goodwill, talked about consolidated retained earnings, talked about net asset subsidiaries, net asset summary of the subsidiary, NCI account. I talked about different types of NCI. They can ask you either full goodwill or fair or at fair value. I talked about proportionate of net assets or partial goodwill method.
Good one, yeah.
So those will be basically what we talked about. So let us look into the question how it would be. Like I said, this is just a very simple question. You may not really see this type of question, but it's just for understanding purpose. Then after this, we'll tune it up a little bit, and then we'll continue from that place. So let's start from this. So this is, can you see this question or it's too big?
I can see it.
Boldly, Harry. Can you see it boldly?
Yes, yes, I can see it very well.
Okay, it says Prince PLC acquired 12 million equity shares of Mercy PLC on 1st August 20x4 for $20 million. When the retained earnings and other component of equity of Mercy PLC were 7 million and $4,800,000 respectively. It is the policy of the group to measure NCI on acquisition using full goodwill method. So this place they've actually specified what we are supposed to use. In all questions, they will surely specify what we are supposed to use. So let's continue with the question. It now says, for this purpose, the fair value of the NCI in Mercy on 1st August 2024 was estimated to be $12 million. The following is a statement of financial position of the two companies on the 31st December 20x7. So we have Mercy, we have Prince, and you have to prepare the statement, consolidated statement of financial position of Prince PLC as at 31st December 20x7. So that is what we want to do. So there's a lot of things in this question, but let's dive into this one after the other. So, like I used to tell people, you can actually follow a template that is how down to do this. And I think I want to make this part smaller. Then this one should be bigger. Okay, I'm coming. So I want to make this. Can you see the Excel?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, let me change this. So I'm coming now. I want to make the questions. want it to be visible. Okay, hope you can still see both, Sha, because I don't want one to cover the other one.
I can see both.
Okay.
Why don't you just enlarge the Excel? I'm actually using my laptop so I can see the question from my phone.
Okay. No
Yes.
problem. I mean, is because most people actually used to use their phones to for the class. That's
I
why
understand.
I used to do that. No problem then. Hope this I think this is still okay like this. So I'm going to start my workings from this side of the Excel sheet. Then I'll use this side for question so that we can see both. So I'll tag this workings. So the first thing in our last class, what was the first thing I said we are going to do? First thing I'm going to do is our group structure,
We are
right?
going to ascertain the percentage of controlling interest.
Yes. That's good. So that's the group structure. So in our group structure, who is the parent? Prince. They said Prince
Prince,
acquired. Who is the subsidiary? Mercy,
yes.
right? So the first
Mhm.
thing is that what is the percentage of the what's it called? Percentage of the ownership. So how
Yes.
do you get that? Now this place now you see in this question they did not give us percentage. On the normal day they will have told us maybe 40%, 60%, sorry, above 50, 55, 60, 70, 80. But in this question they did not tell us. So we're going to what we're going to do is that we'll now try to get what is the total number of shares in Messi. They will now see okay out of the total number of shares in Messi, how much did Prince acquire? So we'll now check the percentage to each other. So um so how do we know the total number of shares owned in Messi? We now come here. This is Messi, right? So Messi has shares worth 4 million naira. Hope we are together.
Yes, sir.
So Messi has 400 million shares, Abi. So let me tag this as percentage holding in Messi. Because I want to calculate the percentage out. So that will now be equals to now all the shares in Messi is this. All the value of the shares. The value is different from number of shares. Oh. This 4 million now, don't forget there is 000 here. So the 4 million here is the value of the shares. So we want to get the number of the shares, numbers of the shares. So that now be 4. Should we use the dollar? Let's just use 4 billion. This thing. But I don't want it to confuse us because of. Okay, let's continue. Let's continue. So 4 million, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me put the value there because it can confuse us. Number can confuse us from what's it called? This thing. Sorry, I'm coming. Let's put it. So that will now be the value divided the value of all the shares divided by the value per one share. What is the value per one share? That is 20 cents. Abi, that is 20
Yeah.
cents. So how do you or in our own case now because I'm using naira, although in your question in your exam is naira that they will use because this textbook is just using dollars. Let's assume that it was naira. So it will be 20 kobo. Cents is for dollars. So it will be 20 kobo. So how do you now do the 20 kobo? That will now be 0 naira 20 kobo. That will now be divided by 0 naira 20 kobo. So what will this now give us? This will now equals to, let's use calculator,
20 million.
20 million, right?
Yes.
So we have 20 million number of shares. Number, what am I pressing? Number of shares. Abi? Now, out of this 20 million, how much did, out of this 20 million,
Mm.
sorry, okay, I get. Let me tag that something. Total shares in Messi, Abi, in Messi. So total share in Messi is 20 million. So out of this 20 million, how much did they acquire? 12. Since acquired 12
Oh,
million equity
yes.
share. So that will now be 12. And is this where I'm even supposed to use the percentage only? Let me do like this. Control X. I'm coming. Let me, okay. Because the way I tagged it so that you understand easily. What I want to calculate now, that's the percentage holding. So that I'm not going to confuse you. And let me use this. Let me use it here. I think it's still okay like this. So that you understand that this is what I'm doing now. Mhm. I think it's still okay like this, Abi. So,
Yes.
mm, okay, this is okay. So, percentage holding in Mercy will now be, I think we can get that easily now. That will now be 12 million number of shares, which they acquired divided by the 20, Abi,
Mm-hmm.
times 100%, which will give us what? 12 divided by 20. 60%.
0.6.
Abi, that's 60% now. Are you there?
Yes.
So the percentage is what? 60%. So you can just write Prince. Let me write it here. Prince. So is because the reason why this is very important is because if you go and get a very different, what's it called? A very different percentage. That means all your work is wrong from the beginning to the end. You understand? So which is not good. You get what I'm trying to say, Abby?
Yes.
Let's say someone got another percentage now, and the person will think he's doing the correct thing. Meanwhile, he's just doing nothing. So the percentage is one of the important things that we need to get. So we can now write 60% here, 60 percentage. So in front of that 60%, I would advise you to put the year of acquisition there. What is the year of acquisition? 1st August 20x4. It was acquired on 1st August 20x4. So hello.
Hello,
Okay, you
sir.
can see him right.
Yes.
August, 1st August 20x4. Okay, let me merge and center this one. I'm trying to do it how it should look on a board. Sorry, I'm coming. Yes, so it should look something like this if you are trying to do it on a paper. So that's the first thing we are supposed to do. Okay, so moving on, we have done the group structure. So what's the next thing that we are supposed to do? Oh, let me use it here. All together. Next one, next assets summary of subsidiary. So in that we have two columns where we have, should I use it here? Okay. So we have date of acquisition, DOA, and we have date of consolidation, DOC, and you have post acquisition earning, post acquisition. I'll just use acronym, post acquisition earnings. Is this my earnings correct?
No.
And G is supposed to be having.
Yeah.
So let's go up and enter this one. Okay, I think we can move now. So what are the net assets of the subsidiary from this question? You will now pick them one after the other. Mm. Now, this is where you come and look. I already told you what it will be. These are all our net assets. All of these things like this. All of these things are our what? Our net assets. So don't forget the net asset that we are doing here is for subsidiary. Who is the subsidiary? Mercy. So this is where you want to focus on. This is where you want to focus on. Don't look at this one.
Okay.
So what are the things that they have there? Shares, share premium, retained earnings, another component of equity. That's what they add as at the date of what? Date of consolidation. What is the date of consolidation? Hey, now let me quickly tell you. Date of consolidation is when they are bringing the two statements together. Consolidate means you join Abi. So they said the following is statement of financial position of the company as at December, as well as December 20x7. The date of the financial statement is the date of consolidation, and that's what they said here also. Prepare consolidated statement of financial position of Prince PLC as at 31st December 20x7. So this is the date of consolidation. You understand? So date of acquisition, we'll go and check that one when they acquired the company. So let's first bring out all these ones first. So we start with the share capital. Share capital. Then they also have share premium. Then they also have retained earnings, and they also have other component of equity. Let me just shorten it as OCE, other component of equity. Other component of equity. Please note that. Then all the figures that we have here is for what? Is for consolidation. For consolidation. So let's bring out the consolidation figure first. Six, 13. Okay, so we will now go and check the acquisition figure. Hope you are getting it.
Yes.
I have to quickly plug my phone because of this light. Okay, so we will now go back to the beginning of the question to check what's um was there during the acquisition period. So during the acquisition period, I said blah blah blah, purchase for blah blah blah. When they retained earnings, now this is where we are going to start from. On this date of acquisition, they said earnings. Yeah, continue. They said when the retained earnings was another component of equity where 7 million, sorry, then 4,802,000. So it means 7 million is for retained earnings, 4.8 is for other component of equity. So, but if you now look at this place now, they did not say anything about share capital and share premium. Abi, see, they did not say anything about share capital and share premium, right? All together.
Yes, we are together.
So since they did not say anything, so there means nothing changed. You understand? So that means for the share capital, if they did not say anything, just put down the same figure. The same thing goes for the share premium. Put down the same figures, except they specify that something happened that caused the figure to change. Maybe they bought more shares or something. It is going to be the same. Okay. So for the retained earnings, even this my earnings is wrong. Sorry. Um, uh, so for the retained earnings, they said it was what 7 million, right? Then for the other component of equity is 4.8. Okay. So we will now look for this thing. So that will be this minus this give us 0. So let's apply this to all others. So now we are not yet done. Let us get our total post acquisition earnings. Hope you are getting what we are trying to do, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes. All this one will give us this, and sorry, and all this one give us this. So at the end of the day, our post acquisition earnings should be 27,200. You understand how I got it? That's the 19 plus 8 2 post acquisition earnings, right? So these are post acquisition. That's why we are doing this. That means what did we get? What was the earnings or form of profit that came into the company after we acquired them? Because everything that came that serve as a form of profit to the company after we acquired them, also part of it also belongs to us, and part of it also belongs to NCI. So we would also keep that in mind. Then three, three. So the third one will now be goodwill. Goodwill. So how do you get your goodwill account? So that will be your, okay, I'm coming. Let me bring my new sign. Your purchase, what's our purchase consideration? the amount that they bought the company. That's the first thing we want to look at. Let me just put it here. So you can either call it cost of investment or purchase consideration, anyone you want to call it. But let me use cost of investment. I think I should bring back my this thing here. Okay. So our cost of investment is 20 million. They said Prince PLC acquired 12 million equity share of Mercy on 1st August 20th for what? For 20 million. Abina.
Okay.
So now the next thing we want to add is NCI. But the NCI they gave us is at what? At fair value. If it is not at fair value, I already told you how we get it right.
Yes.
So this one is at fair value. So don't worry, we'll still take a question that is not at fair value so that you remember what I told you. Or we'll practicalize it, sorry. We'll practicalize that one also so that it's not be as if I just using math to say everything. So what is the fair value amount of the NCI? They said for this purpose, fair value of NCI in Mercy PLC on 1st August 2024 was
Million.
estimated for 12 million. 12 million. So 12 million is the basic, sorry, is the amount. So at this point, you are going to add the two together. Oh, this will give us 22, right? Oh, sorry, 32. Sorry, 32 million. Then we will now less um less subsidiary net assets at date of acquisition. Subsidiary NA is net assets because of I just want to shorten it at DOA. DOA is date of acquisition. Hope I'm not shortening too much. I'll have to increase this thing again. Oh God. I don't want it to be getting too far. Okay, so which will now give us what's at DOA? What's that? How much is it? 20,
800.
sorry, 2800, right? So what we are trying to get is that don't forget I told you that goodwill is the extra value of what you paid over the or of excess of investment investment in shares or excess of purchase of shares over what was it called, over the value of the company gone gone over the value of the company gone gone. It's just like someone is telling you that this thing is sold for 5,000 and you say okay, I'm ready to buy this thing at 6,000. So the extra value is the goodwill. So now let us get our goodwill. Now from the look of this is a positive goodwill. Sometimes we can get a negative figure. When we get that, we will look at how we will treat that. So let's just be taking it one after the other. Group is a very wide topic, and if you are not taking it one after the other, you just get confused. Like you get confused while you're trying to do it. So we've gotten our goodwill. So let's go do our NCI, which is our non-controlling interest.
Hello, hello, Sandra. Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ mọ́ àwọn class? No.
You're on speaker. Oh, you're on speaker.
Okay, okay, okay. Màá sọ fún kí ló fẹ́ sọ fún?
Okay. NCI is the next thing. So how do you do our NCI? Like I told you before, NCI will now be okay. Let me copy this here first. NCI will first be this. Whatsoever figure that is here is the first thing I bring here.
Okay.
Then the second thing I now bring is percentage shareholding. Let me just use according to here. Percentage portion or percent of this post acquisition earnings. Post acquisition. So how do you get percent of post acquisition earnings? That will not be. Can I do it here? Let me just do it here. What's our NCI? I should have written it here. Oh, see me. Sorry, I should have written that also. So NCI is equals to what? NCI will be 40%. The remaining percentage that we do not own. You understand? So you also write down to your exam, so that the examiner will know what you are doing. So the NCI percent is 40%. So we now come here and write 40% of 40% of what? Of 27. This is the post acquisition earnings figure of 27,200, 27,200, 27,200. So what's 40% of 27,200 now? Yeah.
19.
19.
40%, right?
Yes. Of 27,200.
10,880.
10,880. So the addition of these two is our NCI. That means the value of our NCI plus the acquisition. You know, NCI is for those that is the remaining percentage that was not owned by the parent. So if you want to calculate the value, so that will be percentage of what they earn after acquisition, percentage of NCI earned after acquisition, then the value going up plus the value will give you your NCI. Then the last one is consolidated retained earnings. Now I'll tell you two things once I start this thing so that you not get confused. Consolidated, the dated retained earnings. So how will you do your consolidated retained earnings? So that will be the value of your retained earnings for parents. What is parent retained earnings? 49 million. Parent, let me shorten it. RE, parent retained earnings. 49 million. Then you now say percentage of post acquisition earnings also. But in this case, it can be in two ways. It can be in two ways. This one will not be 60%, but let me explain something. Now, to get your consolidated earnings, that will be your parent retained earnings plus percentage of post acquisition earnings. Now, I can choose to use this 27,200. You understand? But it's not every time, or it's not in every textbook, or it's not in every calculation that they will do it. Now, because retained earnings is outside share capital and share premium, the same thing as other component of equity. Other component of equity can be valuation, your reserve, etc. You understand? Now, I can choose to divide it. I can choose to do consolidated retained earnings separately, consolidated OCE separately. But if I want to do it separately, I will not use this 27,200. This is
Okay,
what I
that's
mean. This one, I'll just do, instead of me using that, let me come here. I'll change this to 19,000. Now, why am I using 19,000? Because I only want to get for this. You now ask yourself that, what am I doing? Why am I not doing for this? Because both of them belong, they belongs to, what is it called? They belong to equity. But it's also necessary that you get both of them separately. So it's not as if you get them together, you get wrong answer. Oh. If you still use the 27,200, it's still the same answer that you get. You understand?
yes.
But most times, when you do it separately, it makes it more, um like, it explains it better. You understand? So now let's just do it separately so that you see what I'm trying to talk about. So now I'm going to do, now the reason why I'm also doing this is because we have this, you understand? Let's now assume that we do not have this OC in this equation now. Let's say it was only this, we'll have just used the figure directly. Understand? But because of this OCE, we can now separate it. So let's say we only want to do for consolidated retained earnings, that will now be 60% of 19,000. 60% of 19,000. Do you understand what I just said?
Yes, yes, I understand you.
This one will give us 11,4. So everything is 64. So we now get for consolidated OCE. Let me just copy and paste. I'll be changing it. This is 6. This is consolidated other component of equity. Other component of equity. So this one will not be parent equity and retain earnings again. It will be parent OCE. Parent OCE. How much is parent OCE? 11,000. So this one will be parent OCE. This one will be 11,000. Then this one will now be 60% of what? Of the remaining figure, which is 82.
Mhm.
So 60% of 82 will give us
4,920.
okay, 4,920. So that's it. We are done with all the calculations. Now, don't forget, all these things that we are doing is workings. It will be at the back of your solution. So let us now go to the solution one go. So the name that the solution will carry it is the parent name, since it's the parent that owns it now. So don't go and say Princess Amesio. I'm sorry, Prince Amesio. You just be Prince PLC. Right? So you have consolidated statements of financial position. What would they say we should do? Consolidated statement of financial position.
Yes.
End of financial position. Let me bring that one here. Position as at 31st
In first December.
December
Yes.
20x7. So that is what we want to do. So I think I'll need to increase this. Hmm? Okay. Okay. Give me this sign. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is our non. You want to see something? So when you want to do it, I used to tell students just the format that they use is what you just use. See the way they started. Assets, PPE, clinical, just write it back for them like that.
Okay.
Assets. So you don't you not stress yourself. Okay. So what's the first asset that is there? We have PPE, right? PPE does not have any issue. We did not do anything to PPE. They did not say anything about PPE. Assuming they gave additional information on something about PPE, we would have adjusted for it, but there's nothing. So what you now do is that because we are consolidating, you add the two together. So that PPE is now going to be 40.
Plus 25.
Okay, plus 25. That will give us. Hmm? So I supposed to even use. Let me use one error. Let me use one error column since I'm not going to be doing it separately. Let me just make this. I think this is still better, but it looks very small. Okay, this is 65, right?
Yes.
What's the next one? Investment in Messi. We don't need it again. Don't forget, this investment is 20 million. That's the amount we invested in Messi. That's the same 20 million that is here. The only time that we would adjust for that is when this figure is different from this figure. But the figure is the same thing. According to what the question tells us, investment in Messi is 20 million. In the acquisition too, investment is 20 million. So that one is not issue. We are not going to use it again because we have used it when we wanted to get our goodwill. Cost of investment 20 million. So it's not necessary. Again, the next one is other investments. Other investments. That's the next one. Oh, before we even get to other investments, goodwill is an intangible asset that will come before. Okay, let's do other investments. Other investment is how much? That's 5 plus 3, right?
Yes.
Which is what? 8,000, right? Abina.
This is time.
After that is what? Okay, then before we go to current assets, let's quickly do our good. Our goodwill most times is for current assets. Okay, goodwill. So what's the goodwill? That's now workings 3. Abi, workings 3. The figure is 11,200. 11,200. After goodwill, we can now do our current assets. Current assets, which is 50 plus 46. Sorry about this. So how much is that? 50 plus for that is 96, right? Then weekly message is person that much that.
96.
Uh, 96, right? Okay. So after that, I think that's all for the assets, right? That's all for the assets.
Yes, that's all.
So, so everything there will give us 80, 180, 200, and 80, 200. So let's do equity and liability. Equity and liability. This one is total asset according to what they wrote. Total assets. So equity and liability. Let's bring down here. Equity, equities. Abi, you go look call it equities. Let me see the word they wrote. Equity, equity and liabilities. Equity and liabilities. Okay. So let's underline this. Control U. V. So for the equity, we have equity shares. Equity shares. Parent, in this place, it's only parent own that you use. Oh. So we
Okay.
are not adding,
Yeah,
we are
we are
not
not
adding,
adding one of subsidiary to parents.
no, because this is parent account that we are doing. So let me like this share capital. I'll now open the bracket and put parent. Yes, so I'm only going to use parent, which is 8,000. No addition. No addition. The same thing goes for the share premium also. Let me just manage space like this. Share premium, also parent only. Parent only. Also parent only. That's how much? That's 10,000, right?
10 million.
10 million, yeah. So what's next?
Rating.
Retained earnings. Retained earnings. Retained earnings. So retained earnings will be working. We've already got our consolidated retained earnings. Yeah. 6,400. Workings 5. Workings, workings 5. 6,400, right?
Mm-hmm.
Next one is what? O is OC, Abi. Other component of equity. Show, oh my God, man. I want to copy and paste this, but it may not contain that space. Let me just hide the shortcut. This is workings what? Working 6, right? Which is how much? 15,920. What would all this one give us? Okay. Then we'll now add our NCR. You know, I told you yesterday about the NCR. NCR is working is 4, if I'm not mistaken. 22,880. Abi?
Mm-hmm.
880. 22,880. 1,000. So everything is giving us 117,200. Then what next do we have there? Non-current liabilities and current liabilities. Abi?
Yes.
Non-current liabilities. So non-current liabilities. Oh, what a list there. They just wrote it out, Abi.
Mm.
Let me just write it out too. I thought they listed it. So let's just add it. That's 12 plus 9, Abi. So that's 21. Abi? 21. Then current liabilities.
42.
25 plus 17.
42.
Hmm? Abi? Is it correct?
Yes.
I think that's all right.
That's all.
The answer I will get is total equity and liability. Let's check it to if it will be correct. So as you can see, this is 180,200. This is also 180,200. So which means that is correct. Equity and liability. So we are done. We are done. We are done. We are done. It's that question. I done with that question. Would you want me to send this solution to you?
You mean the solution to this one?
Yeah, yeah, I can. Since okay, I'll send it. Not let me send it now. Let me send it now. Let me first stop recording.